So the way to get started with Sausalito is to create a new Sausalito project. So I'm going to call it, okay, so I'm going to create a new Sausalito project called XML Prague. And since I have no clue how to get started with the framework, I'm going to use a project template. So you can choose between many project templates, and each template is featuring functionality in our frameworks. For instance, if you want to build an application that connects to Twitter using OAuth, you might want to check the OAuth template to see how to get started. If you want to see how schema is handled in 28 MSEC, you might want to use the schema template. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the guestbook template, which is kind of our Hello World application with 28 MSEC. So here you have the basic project infrastructure. So very quickly you have the handler folder. The handler folder is the directory where you put Xquery modules, and each of these modules are exposed through HTTP. So you have a one-to-one mapping between an HTTP request and an Xquery function invocation. In the lib folder, you're going to put your libraries. In bulk load, you can put some data you want to bulk load into the database. And in the public folder, you put your CSS, images, JavaScript file, HTML files, all your static files. So if I look at in the guestbook module, you can see that here we declare a collection of guestbook entries. So we use an extension to Xquery, which is called Xquery Data Definition Facility. And this extension gives a semantic to persistent artifacts in Xquery, such as collection, indexes, and integrity constraints. So I have this guestbook entries collection. I declare a QName that points to the collection. And from my application, my guestbook application, I'm going to need two functions: add to add an entry to the guestbook, and list to list all entries of the guestbook. So here I use the Xquery Data Definition Facility module to insert a node into the collection. I use the HTTP module to get information about the request to generate the XML I'm going to insert into the database. And in list, I just access the collection data and return some HTML code. And so the way it works is that the QName of the Xquery function is mapped to an HTTP request. So if I do /guestbook/add, it's going to map the URL of the HTTP request to a function invocation. And of course, you can use, if you want to have more freedom on how your URLs look like, you can use URL rewriting or some other tricks also we use to build our applications. So I'm going to go ahead and run the application. So let's see if it works. Some of you have seen this example countless times. I apologize.
But the style is different.
Okay, seems to work. So just like you would use PHP or any kind of web framework, you can modify your query on the fly. So I'm going to add some color. Okay, that looks good. So let's assume you're ready to put your application in the cloud. So what happens is that you can go on your website, 28msec.com. You can log in, register an account. So I'm gonna log into my account, and so here I have a dashboard of all the applications I'm running on top of 28msec, and I'm gonna create a new one, XML Prague demo. Okay, so my application is created and it's ready to deploy into the cloud. So I'm gonna go ahead Sausalito, deploy project, application name, XML Prague demo. So I'm going to put my credentials. Okay. So it's okay. My app is deployed, so I can check it out. Okay, looks good. One thing, what about this entry I just added? It doesn't appear, right? Because the data, you start from a fresh data set. So what you can do is, I'm gonna go in command line. So you can use Sausalito to backup your data. So you can use the backup data command. It creates you an archive of your collection data, and I can go in my portal, XML Prague demo, restores data from my local machine to the cloud. And if I go back to the application, here it is. Usually what happens, use case we see a lot is that people put an app in production, there is some bug, something is going wrong, so they back up the data from the cloud, restore it on their computer, fix the problem, and restore the data again in the cloud if necessary. So the Guestbook is a really simple application. Everything is built in XQuery, so there is no Java, no funky stuff. You do everything in XQuery. You declare, manage your data in XQuery. You build the middleware part of your application in XQuery, and so you can build any kind of applications. This one we use to track performance regression on our system. It's entirely built in XQuery. This one is done by Hirt, who's here in the room, and they use the OAuth module to connect to Twitter and provide a social dashboard in XQuery. We've done this small application to provide a mobile HTML5 application to access conference programs. This application is from one of our customers. They build the entire platform in XQuery. It's an e-learning website, and it has for social media marketing, and you can buy online seminars in the website. And the payment using credit card or PayPal is entirely done in XQuery, for instance. So we provide a lot of modules to build a web application. So you don't have to use any kind of glue. It really simplifies your application architecture to a single programming language everywhere. On the back end, it has a fully fledged content management system. So here we use a tidy module to take the input, clean it up as XML, and store it into a collection. Their emailing solution is also driven from XQuery. So they use a MailChimp module to connect to MailChimp and manage their emailing solution. This is another application that is running on top of 28 MSec. It's from a company called Evaluate Science. They built an entire ERP in XQuery. It has a wiki engine, a workflow engine, customer relationship management, and everything is done in XQuery from top to bottom.